Hi, this is Denise from Foursquare Microfarm, and I'm working on a breeze set today. This is Tasmanian Comeback. I got this from Emonie Hopkins of Hopkins Fiber Studio. You can find more of her fibers and yarns online. Now, as it sounds, the Tasmanian Comeback fiber is from New Zealand. It originated in Australia from the British long wools crossed to merinos. It's also a Cordell, Polworth cross, and there are a few other fine wools. But basically, the point is that it's a merino cross or a fine wool cross to these hardy, longer wool sheep. And of course, the end goal was to get a finer wool from that. Now, they're a dual purpose, medium to large breed. They look a lot like merinos, except they don't have the neck folds. The general staple length for this particular cross is 4.3 inches, and it's generally about 21 to 25 microns. Now, the sample I have here is a natural oatmeal, and it's a three color blend. There's this dark color right here, a dark oatmeal, and then there's this lighter color, which is like a toasted oatmeal, and then there's a creamy color inside. So I didn't separate by colors. I normally don't when it comes to fleeces like this. So it's going to be a really nice look. It's going to give the fiber, it won't be uniform, one uniform brown color or one uniform cream color. And I went ahead and I flicked out the entire 8-ounce batch, and I did it the way I normally do, where I lay it down on the carders and flick both ends. And if there's any shortcuts, then I just run the entire thing down the length of the carder, the hand carder, so that basically it's not carded. It still retains its a lot of its original form, depending on how hard I'm carding it. Some of it still looks pretty much in its lock structure, and it still retains its direction, so it's not jumbled up and filled with air like a woolen yarn would be. Okay, so here I am at the wheel, and hopefully it doesn't look too crazy. I had to pull the carpet up after the puppies left, so I'm in the middle of painting the floor. But at any rate, I was going to just cut to the part where I showed you the yarn, and then cut then to the part where I made the yarn. But one of the most important steps of any of this is the actual spinning. And I'm not going to spin you through the entire project as Joel plays on the floor. It's probably beneficial that I show you what's happening prior to that behind the wheel, of course. Okay, so I had already started spinning some of it when I was at a craft show the week before. And I'm looking at it now, and my spinner's control card is back there. But just looking at this, after you've done enough with the spinner's control card, you have a pretty good idea by looking at what it's going to turn out to be. And then, of course, you can always let it go and let it twist onto itself. But this doesn't have a great little twist in it. And this is going to be a worsted weight yarn. And I've suddenly decided I really don't want a worsted weight yarn. I want something a little lighter. So I'm going to spin through this bobbin right here. And then when I fill this bobbin, I'm going to take this off and spin a completely different bobbin. So when I get to the end, I'll have two totally different weights of yarn, and it'll give me two different projects. And with 8 ounces of fiber, that's plenty of fiber for me to do all kinds of things with. A pair of gloves and something else. And so anyway, this fiber, I really like the way it combed. And I liked a lot the way it drafted, and it kind of reminds me a lot of Shetland, except not quite so greasy. A lot of the Shetland I've had is really crimpy and very greasy. This is not quite as crimpy. Well, I could see where they would say that it's from a long wool cross, because it's not as soft and crimpy. Let me see if you can get a. It's not as soft and crimpy as a merino would be, and definitely not as greasy in the fiber. But it's not quite a long wool. It's a different handle. It's not as grabby as a merino and the finer fibers are. I do like it. I like it a lot. It's really nice to spin with. Okay, hopefully that description made some kind of sense to you. If you spun merino, and then you spun Shetland, and then you spun long wools, it'll make some kind of sense to you. Hopefully. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get the spinning. And I'll go through both bobbins. When I switch bobbins, I'll show you the lighter weight bobbin. And then I'll go ahead and apply them. And I'll see you after I've applied those two. Okay, so I am currently spinning the Tasmanian Comeback on the wheel. And I had a few thoughts. And it's just a little snippet. Hopefully, I can get this all in one pass without having to cut into segments. But I was thinking about the other day when someone asked whether or not a thick yarn. Okay, so I was in the middle of spinning the Tasmanian Comeback. I had a little thought I wanted to put out there. And so I got kind of excited and picked up the phone and realized that I don't have the tripod or anything set up. But hopefully I can get this to make sense in one pass so I can go ahead and record it while my thoughts are clear. But I was in a Facebook group and someone had asked about using a bulky yarn for weaving. And someone commented, well, would a bulky yarn be strong enough for warp? And my answer was it doesn't really have anything to do with the thickness as to whether it's strong enough. It has everything to do with the twist that makes any sense. And I mean, there are some other factors, but pretty much if you look at any spinning, for whatever purpose you're using your spinning, basically spinning is all about twist. Different fibers need different amounts of twist. Different applications need different amounts of twist. The amount of twist you put in the fiber controls how it feels, how strong it is, basically what it looks like. And so when you think about it like that, everything has to do with twist. So when I'm spinning for weaving, when I say my yarns are hard, smooth, hard, twisted yarns, I mean that that's basically what I mean is that they're smooth, they're not lofty, there's not a lot of air in the fiber, and basically there's a lot of twist. Now, here's where it gets complicated, is when you tell people there's a lot of twist, and you don't want really over twisted yarn. That you don't want. So if you look at my single here, it's not like curling all over the place. So I don't mean it's over twisted. I just mean that it's hard and smooth twisted. And let me grab this real quick. I'm kind of wishing I put more light here, but this is yarn right here. I just took this yarn off the bobbin, and basically it hasn't been washed or anything done to it. It's got a little twist in it, but it's not kinky, and so it's not over twisted. I dare say it's fairly well balanced for yarn that has not been fooled or anything done to it other than coming right off the bobbin. And so there's a skill to it, because yarn is a skill, and there's also an art to it. So I could measure the angle, and Mary of Comage Fibers actually has a easy tool to measure angles. But for me, as you get to know me, one of the things I don't want to say that I'm an A-type personality, but I do like everything to be controlled. I like to measure things. I like to plan things. Everything to be exact. And this is probably one area, well, maybe there's two, but this is really the one area where I don't do all that. Mostly I spin by feel, which means there's a lot of trial and error going on before I can get to the place where I'd like to get to, but I do a lot of my spinning by feel. So I can't really prescribe to you an angle at which your yarn will be perfect for weaving. I can't really do that. I can prescribe it to you. I can describe it. And so you kind of have to get a feel for at what tolerance the fiber that you're spinning is going to be strong enough to hold together, strong enough for weaving, not so strong you're going to turn it into rope, because some of the fibers, if you spin them very tight, especially like Leicester long wool, you're going to feel like a rope. And it's basically a thing you do by feel. So, as always, practice, practice, practice. That's how you learn. That's how you get a feel for what you like. Here's my completed skein of Tasmanian Comeback. I'll get a little close up on you. This is it right off of the bobbin being plied. I haven't washed it yet. And I really enjoyed spinning this skein. I like the feel of the fiber. It did come scoured. It was a little too scoured for me, but it wasn't terrible. It's a really nice, stretchy, elastic fiber with a good handle. And it was just really neat to try something so different. Now, I do have another batch. I didn't spin up this whole 8-ounce batch. I still have the other ball over that needs to be spun. This is about 200 yards from the first pass. And so this is maybe 3 or so ounces, maybe not quite that much. But I have a batch that is the Comeback and a Polworth blend. I'm looking forward to that, really. If I like the Comeback this much, I probably am really going to like that together. And I was going to wait to finish the video till I had done something with it, but I kind of got like this brainchild in between. And so I need to go ahead and start another project. So I figured instead of leaving this guy unpublished for a while, because I tend to forget videos if I don't do something about them, I figured I'd go ahead and finish it so you can at least see what the finished yarn looked like and kind of give you an idea. Alright, thanks everybody for watching my breed study on the Tasmanian Comeback. And I try to remember to put a link down there for Emonie Hopkins, for Hopkins Fiber Studio. If you're looking to try to come back, she'll know where to get it at. And so thanks a lot. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, well, put something in the comments so I know why. It helps me to cater my videos more towards my viewers. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe please, and share these videos with your friends. And as always, if you have anything you'd like me to do or any questions, go ahead and leave it in the comments. I always reply to my comments. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great day.